An ideal client is someone that trusts you, someone that doesn't second guess your advice, that pays their bills, that can afford you, and that is respectful to you and your team and will listen to you. And so you say, like, are you coachable? Can I coach you? Okay. If you don't have a client, and I use that kind of in translation to representing someone, if I don't have client control and they don't buy into my advice, it's very difficult to deal with them as a client. So there are red flags that will happen up front. And we've learned that because of scarcity mindset, if we hear, and you can hear them once we're I'm almost 20 years in, the red flags, you know what they are. And inevitably, if you're in scarcity, you're like, I know that this red flag's there, but I want to make this sale. And then you do. And then inevitably, that is not your ideal client.
I think this is really important. I had a conversation with a prospective client the other day, and admittedly, I did all the things that I teach people not to do. Okay. So I own I was, was coming back from the event. I was in the passenger seat, but it was very distracting to be watching the team navigate. And there was also the Wi-Fi wasn't solid, or the cell service wasn't solid, right? There were all these things that I'm like, I have a little checklist that I teach and that I normally keep to. And I didn't follow that. And I had a terrible, I feel terrible internally. Oh, let me say that differently. I don't feel terrible internally, but I made a note that was not of service to that person,
right?
Because I wasn't showing up in my power, fully present and serving her. But I also recognize, to the point of there are red flags, that the red flag is, are you playing a shell game? Like, you're not telling me all the things that are at play, so that when we get to the place of like, okay, well, this is your next step, then it comes out, I'm in 5 other coaching programs and I don't have time, or I don't believe in myself because of the X, Y, and Z, right? There's all sorts of things that come out, and I could see that the entire time, but I was so distracted and not in my personal power having that call that I wasn't paying attention to the red flags that were coming up. And I would have never offered someone like that the opportunity to work with us, because that is a they're not coachable. Okay.
Right.
Okay. That shell game. Yep. And so, to your point, and I'm not, the listeners need to know that too, but to your point, what the red flags are. Start paying attention to that. It's really important.
It is. And I would just give one red flag that is almost a never failer to young lawyers out there. If you're their 6th lawyer, and they've been in litigation for 5 years, still don't have a final order.
Yeah. Run.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. I mean, that's the red flag for me too. I've been in all these programs and none of them have worked. Could it be you?
Who's the common denominator?
Ouch, right? That's an ouch. And I don't say that. And I need to frame this up for people, because I can hear people clicking off, right? And running away. It's a personal responsibility piece. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I hope that if you're like, oh my God, that's me, that you don't take it personally, that instead you say, oh yeah, the common denominator is me. I need to shift. And to this person's credit, she was coming to the call to try and find an answer to this.
Yeah.
So, I'm not doing it a full justice, her full justice. Okay. Okay. So your practice has evolved, and have you started to work with a different kind of client than you did in the beginning?
Yeah. I mean, and I think that those ideal clients have always been there. And so I've had wonderful experiences with clients, and I've had really bad experiences with clients. And the rub, the game, if you will, is to identify those good clients and try to focus on, and it's hard, Amir, because it's not demographics, it's not age, it's not race, it's not gender necessarily. It truly is, do they trust you? Do they trust you? Do they value you?
And for some people, they don't have the ability to trust.
Right. But then they will fire you and then go. That's why they have 6 lawyers.
Absolutely, Laura. I'm not saying take them as a client. Okay.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm just saying sometimes it's not about do they trust you. It's that they can't trust they have anyone. Okay.
Yeah, I should have said it like that. Like I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Great. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your journey or advice that people could walk away with and feel like, oh my God, Laura, what a total nugget there?
What I'm working on right now and what I really love the idea of doing is having a vision for my law firm. Like I have it in my head. I know what I want to do. And I know how I want to show up, and I know how I want my clients to feel, and I know how I want my staff to show up and how my staff to feel. I know it. It's in here. I see it. But I need to be able to articulate it very clearly to myself, to my partner, to my staff, and to my clients. So one of my SOW sisters is starting a partnership. She's a lawyer, one of the Spirit of Wealth ladies. And she says, what do you think about the partnership and how it runs? I said, have a vision. You two all need to have a vision, and then you need to almost make it a manifesto. It's more than a mission statement. It's how do you want everyone to feel? How do you want everyone to show up? What do you want?